Welcome to PAREV-TV. It is truly a great honor to have Dr. Vahram Ter Matevosyan on our program today. He joined us live from Yerevan. He is professor and chair of the Political Science and International Affairs program at the AUA, the American University of Armenia. He's also a senior researcher in the Turkish Studies Department at the Institute of Oriental Studies at the National Academy of Sciences of Armenia. He specializes in Turkish domestic and foreign policy, regional security, and conflicts in the post-Soviet space. The main topic of our interview is going to be what to do next after the recent war and where to go from here. And before we begin, Dr. Ter Matevosyan, let me just say how honored we feel that you are giving us your time and your mind so that we as a people can move forward with some understanding and some direction. Before I go to the questions in mind, let me ask you three questions which are very current. We heard very recently that Turkey and Iran have proposed 3+3 format cooperation mechanism for the Caucasus with Azerbaijan, Russia, Armenia, Georgia, Turkey, and Iran. What do they have to gain by this proposal?
Well, thank you very much, first of all, for this opportunity to speak to you and to your audience. I appreciate the job that you are doing. I follow the interesting interviews with your guests, and I do learn a lot from these interesting discussions. Yes, I have to say before I get started that this is my first interview that I'm giving to anyone after the war, and the reason for it is that the sense of being lost in our preferences, lost in search of words and opinions and ideas, how to move forward. Since day one, when the war started, the major question was how we got here. But I guess the question what to do next is as important as we got here, because this sense, the deep-seated sense of calamity and what to do next should be dealt more rigorously now, because this is where we have to bring together the minds and greatest scholars and professionals and activists around the globe who care about Armenia. And this is how we have to bring together and think about the future of this great country. Now, let me tell you that the idea of finding a cooperation platform, a cooperation modus operandi in the Caucasus has been at the center of discussion of Iran, Turkey, and Russia from day one when the Soviet Union collapsed. And there have been much discussions what kind of platform to propose to the regional countries, 3 countries plus 3 unrecognized de facto states of the South Caucasus, so that it could bring together not only their interests, but also the interests of the great players of in the South Caucasus. So in 1999, starting from 1999, there have been a number of proposals of this sort. They have, but all coming from Turkey, coming from Robert Kocharian, the president of Armenia at that time. And then in 2008, when Turkey proposed Caucasus Stability Initiative right after the war in Georgia. So coming up with these platforms, this formula of 3+3, 3+2+1, 3+3+2. So all these kind of platforms have been around for many decades now. But this time circumstances are different, of course. If previously Armenia could participate in these platforms, having some say in the process, having some degree of flexibility, now the circumstances are quite different. Armenian current leadership is having hard time to say no to many of these platforms because of the kind of strains and pressure that they are facing since not only starting from the recent war, but since it came to power in May 2018. So this initiative should be seen under this slide. And this initiative, there's a lot to process in this initiative. I guess it has two pathways to go. One is to at least give the platform for the regional countries to have a sense of togetherness, because for many scholars, for many analysts, this region is seen as a broken region. Mm. This region is seen as a non-functional region because it's region by inertia. It's a region because it was called a region by the Russians, then by the Soviets. So therefore, first of all, the idea of regionness, right, regional identity should be sought after if the countries are really interested in investing in this project. But at the same time, it's an opportunity also for the regional countries try to see how they can cooperate in this region, because this region, the war showed that this region, the crisis in this region is not over. Mm-hmm. And these three countries outside of the Caucasus have to find a new way of cooperation. So I wouldn't jump into a conclusion and try to see how this is going to function. I am pessimistic that this is going to work smoothly because a number of the regional interests that they collide, and also how Russia positions itself after the recent war.
You know, the other question I had was very recently the joint Turkish and Russian observation center to monitor Nagorno-Karabakh became operational. Only 2 days ago we heard that. Why was Turkey so anxious to get this center operational?
You know, again, starting from 1991, Turkey had one idea fix, and that is to get hold in the South Caucasus, to get its soldiers somewhere legally so that they can be not far away from the Caucasus, the Azerbaijani interest, but having this kind of presence in the South Caucasus, I guess, was beyond their even wildest dreams. Yes, things went from bad to worse during the war. We all know it, we followed it. But one thing that somehow skipped our attention is the psychological barrier that Turks have overcome during the war by trying so consistently to have a say in the post-conflict configuration of the South Caucasus. And if you pay attention, the way they have been trying to find a common ground for activity was quite surprising. So once they overcome the South Caucasus, this stigma that they had in their mind that the South Caucasus is a region of influence of Russia, it's Russia's backyard, we are not going to be allowed to do anything in the Caucasus. Now they have at least on the level of this joint observation mission, to have a joint operation with Russia. So we all understand that this is more than observation mission, right? This is more than what we see. This is way too important both for Turkey and also for Russians. But we all know that in Syria, Turks and Russians already have observation mission experience together. So we have yet to see how this mission is going to function, what are its real objectives, what are its real intentions, because the village that it is going to be, that it has founded, it was founded, is not far away also from Agdam, and Agdam is becoming a heavily militarized part. Azerbaijan is sending lots of troops and military warfare and weapons in that part of Agdam, and Agdam is going to be a new center where they are going to base the Azerbaijani troops. So there is still too much uncertainty. I am far from thinking that they all had calculated every single step before in advance. I guess lots of things are happening as they proceed. It's a process, learning by doing, and so once the observation mission is in place, the other thing is how to do next. I guess from now on, what is important for Armenia, I guess question number one is security of Armenians in Nagorno-Karabakh, in Artsakh, and not only physical security, but also making sure that those Armenians who are from Artsakh and are currently in Armenia temporarily, so that they can feel secure to go back. Yeah. Because we, according to official statistics, we know how many Armenians go back to Artsakh, but we don't know how many came back again from Artsakh. Mm-hmm. And that's a big question. And that's what we have to find out to make sure what are the conditions that will make the people of Nagorno-Karabakh to feel secure so that they can return back to their places of residence in Nagorno-Karabakh. This is question number one. The second question is what to do in order to make sure that Syunik region in the southern part of Armenia feels secure. Mm-hmm. So this deep-seated sense of security dilemma, the lack of security, should be, and not only Syunik, but also in the eastern part of Gerarkunik region, which is neighboring with Azerbaijan. So these two regions should now become the focus of attention of the Armenian government, because, the people in this part of Armenia, they should possess this feeling of security plus, which is known in the literature, in academic literature, is not only because only security is it's about survival, but if we have security plus, it means security plus development. So the government of Armenia has to provide these basic conditions, but not only basic conditions, but also the sense of development, the sense of future, the sense of the deep-seated sense and the strong sense that the government of Armenia is there to support the population of Gerarkunik and Syunik regions. The level of priorities have shifted drastically in the country. Mm-hmm. So if 4 months ago the country was speaking about completely different topics, now this shift was so dramatic, so drastic, that now this is a time that we have to think together and to really come up with development ideas, perspectives, prospects, discussions, debates, how to move forward from this crossroad.
You speak from the heart, I can feel, and thank you for sharing with us your expertise. The people need direction, and direction comes from, professionals like you who study the situation. Before I go and ask you a little bit more about where we go from here, we are very interested in the rumors, I guess, or the possibility that Lilit Makunts may be appointed Armenian ambassador to the United States of America. Any comments about that?
Here's what I have to say. This is, I have been studying Armenia's foreign policy and Armenia's foreign institutional features of Armenia's foreign policy, especially the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Ironically, my recent article that was published on just a week ago was the institutional features of our Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Armenia. And it was published by one of the leading journals in our field called Third World Quarterly. So the day it was published, I heard that Lilit Makunts was, according to rumors, he is going to be nominated. So why I called ironically, because at the conclusion part of my article, I claimed that since May 2018, since the new government came to power, all the ambassadors have been professional career diplomats, and all the ambassadors that have been appointed, unlike previously there have been many political appointees. But this time, the day it was published, I heard that Lilit Makunts' name is going to be presented, or perhaps they have already acquired the agreement so that she is going to be Armenia's new ambassador. So there is already a break in the paradigm that Pashinyan's government had established since May 2018. I had the chance to know Ms. Makunts. We met 3-4 times. I don't know. I think that for important position of Armenia's ambassador to Washington, you would need an experienced diplomat. I think Ms. Makunts, I had my encounters show that she is eager to learn. She is intelligent woman. But if I were in the shoes of the leaders of this country, I would send the most experienced diplomats in Washington, because in Washington, especially with the Biden administration, you need people who are who understand very well the intricacies of diplomacy, because diplomacy is more than what we see. Diplomacy, it requires lots of work, lots of connections, some soft skills, and these skills you acquire as you serve in the ministry for many, many decades. And so Pashinyan himself has broken the pathway and the paradigm that he himself established, that he himself was criticizing the previous government, that why you are sending so many political appointees to different positions, ambassadorial positions around the globe, and here you go, he himself appoints a person with zero diplomatic experience to be Armenia's representative in Washington. Of course, it is yet to be confirmed. Of course, it is yet to be finalized. But given the indications, it's going to be the case. So I hope that this is going to be an exception. I hope that all the future ambassadors of Armenia in important capitals around the globe are going to be experienced diplomats, or at least with some experience in politics, with major experience with good networks in the connections that they're going to serve as Armenia's ambassadors.
How important is the trust element? Because Pashinyan trusts Lilit Makunts. How important is the trust for this appointment?
When leaders of the countries, they appoint ambassadors and their political appointees, I guess the element of trust is number one condition that these leaders require from political appointees. I guess in these current circumstances, I guess he does trust Lilit Makunts, because she has been an insider. She knows ins and outs of Pashinyan's government. He has been also quite active in many US-run projects. He has also, according to my information, she has been also in Peace Corps. She has served in Peace Corps, and so she does have some experience with working with U.S. affiliated government agents, U.S. government affiliated agencies. But that's all we know about her, and we'll see if she goes. Let's see how these things will evolve and what kind of ambassador we'll have in Washington.
Dr. Vahram Ter Matevosyan, I was really touched by what you told us, that this is the first interview you're giving. And honestly, I thank you again, and it is a great honor to have you share with us your opinions and expertise. The question we had in mind for you was, where do we go from here? You said we should all mobilize. How do we do that? Because diaspora wants direction. We need direction. We need some type of a clear mind in Armenia.
Once again, I'm glad that we are having these discussions, because the mere fact of having these discussions, opening these discussions about the future of Armenia is as important, like I said, as discussion about the questions of how we got here. Mm. Yeah, I think that diaspora is as lost as Armenians because of the war.
Absolutely.
I guess the diaspora also has lost the sense of priorities that has been shaping our agenda for 3 decades. Now it's time for a new beginning. For a historian, it's we can clearly ascertain that wars have been the locomotives of the history. Wars, they come as tragedies, but they also open the doors for opportunities and sobering up of entire nation. This is a moment of truth. This is a moment of opportunity. Are we, as a nation, are we going to overcome this? Or are we going to repeat the same mistakes repeatedly again and again and again? Mm-hmm. Are we going to draw the lessons, the necessary, perhaps painful lessons from this experience? Or are we going to drag ourselves into the blame game? For the last 100 years, the questions for Armenian historians was, what happened to Kars? How we lost Kars. Now, from now on, the question is going to be how we lost Shushi. How it was even possible. Now, but this is a question that needs to be dealt in parallel, how to move forward. This is a time to criticize each other. This is a time to be open to criticism. This is a time to learn from each other. This is a time to understand that what is happening in Armenia is not only a political crisis. This is social, economic, psychological, ideological crisis in all levels. We came to realize that we are in front of the mirror. We look at the mirror now, and we are resistant to realize, to acknowledge this is what we have to face and to move forward. So this sense of, but I want to understand that we have to pull ourselves together. This sense of being lost. We should overcome this moment. This is, of course, is post-traumatic crisis that we face not only on individual level but also on a collective level as a nation, and therefore the sense of direction, sense of priorities, clear priorities. What kind of country, what kind of homeland we do want to see in 2030? 2030, not like 2050, but 2030, 9 years down the road. So once Armenian cannot do this alone. We need to have the voices of diaspora, the diaspora institutions come and have a say in this process. This sense of belonging should be one of these guiding principles, guiding goals of the diaspora. Also, the diaspora. So that's for that purpose, a clear a breach, not only institutional breach, but also different multi-layered bridges should be established between diaspora institutions and Armenia. In Armenia, there are institutions like the American University of Armenia that can become the platform where these different ideas and minds can come together, and we can come up with short-term and mid-term development strategies. Because it's easy to speak about the past. I mean, it's both difficult and easy. But now we need more than that. We need painful process of coming up with ideas about the future of this country.
You know, you're in a very unique position in that you are a professor and you deal with many young men and women at university. What is the mood of the younger generation?
Yes, I believe they are having hard time, really hard time. From day one, my students, not only taking my classes, but also at the American University of Armenia, they had this big question, how we got here. Mm-hmm. During the first days of the war, and after the ceasefire statement, there was like widespread pessimism in the country. Mm. Everybody was literally thinking, not everybody, I mean, I cannot generalize this, I'm a scholar, but on a regular basis, on a frequent basis, you could hear that people were willing to leave the country. Mm. You know, this, and that was really bothering me. You know, there is one war. We had thousands of casualties during the war, and that was enough for many people to instantly think that, well, this okay, we have to get out of here. I mean, I wouldn't say that it was like everybody was saying, but that was also somehow understandable, somehow explainable. But this sense of not belonging, this sense of cosmopolitanism, universalism, that where we can go and be secure any place outside of Armenia. This psychological trait again re-emerged after the war. Now these kind of sentiments have calmed down, I can say, but the people need more assurances. They need a deep sense of stability, so that they can plan not only for them but also for the coming years. I don't know, 10, 15 years. So that's why the students, the young generation, we are responsible to them. We have to, because we promised them that this country is going to be secure, safe, and the government, not only this one, but the previous governments also, they failed to deliver this promise on different levels. And now, of course, current government is totally responsible for what happened. But we have to look at this, the main mistakes, and move forward. So the young people, they are the future of this country. So they need to have the sense that this is where they belong. This is where they really have to feel secure. This this sense should become a dominant paradigm. So in addition to this, we have also to understand that we need to make Armenia a secure place for people to live in. It doesn't, and all the people living in the frontiers and also in Yerevan, they should have the same kind of understanding about the priorities of the country. Because sometimes living in Yerevan, you feel that what are priorities in Yerevan are not necessarily priorities for the region, people living in Sunik and vice versa. So somehow you have this divergent set of priorities depending on the regions, but this is not the way to go. So yes,
Dr. Vahram Ter Matevosyan, you have given us so much to think about. As you said, it's very easy to talk about the past, but we need vision, we need courage to move forward. And I hope we can continue this discussion because we all have the same question: what got us to this point, and where do we go from here? I'd like to thank you for giving us your time, once again, your experience, your specialty, and may we have a new dawn for the Armenian people with security and safety and economic prosperity and everything. Anything in closing?
Yes, thank you once again. I mean, I really appreciate this kind of discussions are significant. These discussions are essential. How to move from here? I may be criticized, my ideas may be criticized, but this is how we go forward. This is how we learn from each other.
Absolutely.
And I want to have these discussions to be more open. So this is a time that we also can benefit from these Zoom discussions so that we can learn from each other. We can learn from experiences, post-war experiences of different nations, what we can learn from them, how we can be more persistent and consistent in our dreams. So thank you once again. I wish you best of luck, and I want to thank you for your time also for Sunday morning in New York and around.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Okay. You too. Bye.